Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. I thought I would take a moment here to share with you a rod and reel that just came into my shop. It was from a customer who purchased this at a local flea market. It was a fisherman's flea market. And he said he thinks he got a good deal on it. And could I take a look at it, and can we find out the price of the repair and the like. So we'll do just that. So let's start with what we have here. Interestingly enough, he bought a Penn 6.0, the 114H on this side. But on the opposite side, we have an older side plate. So we have a marriage of the two. We have a newer type side plate and an older type side plate. And noticeable by its absence is the bearing. Well, very interesting story on this bearing. The bearing itself, there's two styles of it, and the style that fits this particular reel is no longer available. So the reel and the rod, he paid $25 for. I think we have that right here. Rod and reel combination, $25. And he wants to know, did he get a good reel? So let's take a look at some of the thinking behind this, and we'll make a determination about that. So the reel itself turns. It's got wire line on it. So the wire line is used for bigger fish. It's used for trolling. This setup would have been typical pre-braid. So you would have this probably right through the 2000s. This side of the reel was probably made in the 70s. This side of the reel probably the 80s or the 90s. It's the newer bright red style versus the etched side plate and the darker burgundy type of a color. The wire line, I believe that the test on this is probably about 50 or 80 pound test. And again, for sharking, for tuna, for bigger fish. And he said that's what drew his eyes to it. He never had a reel that had the wire line. He's got a boat. He can go deeper in the ocean. He can troll for those types of fish, so we thought this would be a good setup for it. Unfortunately, if we can't find that bearing, then all bets are off. So we're going to have to try and find one of two things. We're either going to have to find a replacement side plate with the bearing, or we're going to have to find the bearing itself, and that's getting harder and harder to do with these 6.0 reels. You have a couple of things going for you. I mean, for $25, it's worth a risk. If nothing else, if this reel has to be broken down and sold for parts, you can recover the value that you paid in the parts alone. So the side plate is not cracked. We're not sure why we lost the bearing. So we're going to have to find another 6.0 reel that has the right bearing, see if it can still be screwed in there, and see if it can be held and tightened and work properly. If the bearing by itself can be found, the new price for a bearing is $25 plus shipping. So we're at $30 or $35. So if you said that was all it took, the bearing cost $30, service this reel, $25 the base cost, that would be under the going price or the asking price for a Penn 6.0 fishing reel. So you could do that. This side appears to be in very good shape. And if we just wanted to break the reel down and sell it as a functioning side plate, you can recover your money in that. That certainly would be worth the $25 with the gear set. The handle is the older style handle with the bigger plastic knob. The handle alone is probably a $15 or a $20 thing. So you'd have to go through the inconvenience of breaking the reel apart, selling it, paying seller's fees if you're going on eBay with it, shipping it, doing all that other stuff. But you could certainly recover your money there. The spool is very well pitted. The pitting on this spool is indicative of what happens in a saltwater environment. There's heavy corrosion on the side. The wire line doesn't help that. And I would be reluctant, if this was me, to sell the spool, because without the bearing, if this has been fished, let's say we were fighting a fish, the bearing fell off, you continue to fish, well, there's nothing supporting this side of the spool. And if you go to put the bearing back in, you may find that the axle on the spool itself has become canted. That is, it's no longer true, and you would have a tight functioning reel if that was the case. And to sell that and to suggest that it's a full functioning spool without testing it or knowing the strength or the condition of that reel spool would be a very difficult thing to do. So you've got an issue here with the spool. You could recover your money in the side plates. You would want to make sure that on this side plate that a bearing can fit in there and that it wasn't cross-stripped or some other way fell out of it. And you could potentially get away simply with somehow acquiring a new bearing and putting this reel back together. This is, like I said, this is a reel that will go fishing. This is not a reel that you would sell, and it's not a reel that you would collect because of the mismatched parts. It doesn't take much to put them back together again, either finding this side plate or finding the bearing to get more true to what it is. Now, the Senators have gone through several changes in the frames themselves. So this is an older frame. As I mentioned, it's probably from the 70s because of the burgundy side of it. He was fortunate to find the side plate that can fit these posts. The newer ones have half frames and have graphite to them. I'm not sure if the lug patterns are the same, but if we can find something on the other side that would match this, that would probably be the secondary option. So first is find the bearing, second is do that. So let's just switch a moment here to the pole itself. The pole itself is a heavy-duty pole, and I'm not going to be able to get this into the frame, but this is a Penn Slammer pole. It has the heavy metal eyelets, and it has the roller bearing tip on it. This is a heavy strength. The action range is 20 to 50 pound line. So he's got the right pole for this. In the Northeast here in the mid-Atlantic seaboard, this is ideal for tuna. It is the right setup for it. It's a Penn Slammer rod. The Penn Slammer rod by itself is worth the price that he paid. So we're not sure yet what the total cost is going to be with parts, labor, and even being able to find these pieces. But I think overall, if I was to evaluate it, did he do okay? Yeah, did okay. Can't go fishing with it right now. Some work to be done. Recover the value of the reel if the parts aren't available and you can't find them. But at the end of the day, he's not going to lose any money on it. But he's not in the business of trying to make money on it, because if he was trying to make money on it, the side plates would match. They would be cleaner. You wouldn't have the corrosion on the spool and things like that. So something to think about. If you're at a flea market, if you're at an auction, if you're looking at something on eBay and you notice a part is missing, don't dismiss it as it's easily or readily available. Go do your homework before you make that purchase. It's easy enough now with a mobile phone or anything. Get on a parts site. If it's Penn, certainly go to mysticparts.com. That's probably the easiest one. Pull a schematic, find the part number. In this case, that part number is 40, and then go over as if you're going to order the parts and find out if it's available. If it's not available, run, or at least take that into consideration when you're purchasing it. I mean, this seller knew why it was going up on sale, and the seller was reasonable. He wasn't suggesting that this reel and rod combination was in working condition. Was it a bargain? I'm not sure if it's a bargain yet. But we're going to do some more work. I'll advise you when we get a little bit closer to solving this mystery, what the next step is. It'll either be finding the bearing or finding a replacement side plate to match the other. But regardless, I just thought I would share some of that with you and let you know how to take a look at a used reel and how to evaluate the overall costs associated with it rather than what's the immediate cost out of your pocket. So I hope you've enjoyed that. To everybody who's a first responder and essential personnel, thank you for everything it is that you've been doing for us during the pandemic. To all, please stay safe, stay well, and stay watching. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.